Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Dashboard Stories. I'm Adam from Squared Up, and today I am joined by our illustrious Chief Technology Officer, Richard Jones. Hey, Rich.
Hey Adam, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Thank you very much for joining me on this. We've got a really cool dashboard to show, one that you built yourself using the
Yeah.
product that you look after. Um, so it's a dashboard that we're going to call your CTO overview. Um, I'll bring the dashboard up now. It'd be really great just to sort of hear from you why you built it, what it does for you day to day, and then we can dig into some cool technical bits and pieces.
All right. Yeah, so I wanted a dashboard that is the first thing I look at every morning. So it's not the only one I look at every morning, but I wanted one that would kind of tell me the overall status of our application. And so in the top left there, you see a tile app architecture with health. So that is actually our architecture diagram for our cloud product. So you can draw this in any tool that supports SVG export, because that's what that is. It's an SVG. So I used diagrams.net, previously known as draw.io. And you can add hyperlinks to it. So whether you do it in Visio or draw.io, you can add hyperlinks. And so if I hover over here, you'll see some of these things are hyperlinked. And you can link to your diagram elements, can link to absolutely anything. But the magic comes from linking to squared up objects. And even better, if you link to squared up objects with health state, then that health state is brought in. So here we can see that the reason that this dashboard is in the warning state right now, telling me something's not quite 100%, is because our B2C auth component here is in that state. And if I click on it, it will take me through to some more detail. And I can see, okay, right now we have a bit of a login latency is higher than the threshold we want. We want it to be below 2 seconds, but it's currently 2.3 seconds. So I need to keep an eye on that and hopefully resolve it over the course of a day. And if I want to get more detail on anything, so even though our API gateway here is green and looking good, I can click on that and see, well, why is it green? Well, all the metrics are looking good. The errors are trending down. The latency is trending down. So all is looking well. So I can click on, see the entire architecture. And as you'll notice, it is multi-cloud. So we have some components or architecture in AWS and some are in Azure. And that's where Squared Up kind of really helps, because if I was going to do this without Squared Up, well, I'd have to have some dashboards in AWS. I'd have to have some dashboards in Azure. I need some cost dashboards because I want to keep an eye on our costs of our more expensive components over here. And finally, I also want to know, well, how are Azure and AWS, our cloud platforms, do they have issues right now? And so for that here, I got this tile which says AWS and Azure cloud service status. And that's coming from our IsDown plugin. So we have plugins for all different types of data sources. So I'm using the Azure, the AWS, and the IsDown plugin in this dashboard. And by doing that, I haven't got to go and look, I haven't got to log into IsDown and see my IsDown dashboard. I can actually see the status from here. So I can see the status of our architectural components and the status of the clouds they are running on, including any recent incidents in any of the regions that we use. So, there were a couple of fairly recent incidents, but I can see they've both been resolved, so we're not impacted by them currently. And then finally, I guess the last thing I want to say about this dashboard is, yes, I could click through into the details of it, but some of the details I just want to see on this dashboard, so I haven't got to click. So some of the really important KPIs, like the average Lambda error rate in the last 15 minutes, the average API latency of the last 15 minutes. I've got some thresholds for that based on our baseline. So I can immediately see, we're looking good on the errors. That's a percentage, by the way. So it's 0.014. It's actually very small. And our latency is pretty good, around a second. So yeah, everything is looking pretty good. And I can see that without drilling into too many things, without too many clicks.
So this dashboard basically serves as the key things, right? The main things you care about, and it's a mixture of sort of summary health through your very pretty diagram. You have got some of those very specific metrics like your error rate, your latency, that nice line graph bringing in the two different metrics for our APIs. But this is effectively like a one stop for your key things that you care about. Some summary, some in depth, but with all of it, you can click through to something else that's got more detail when you need it.
Exactly. It's just like taking a pulse on the application, really. What's what's working, what's not, what do I need to look at in more detail. Just an first initial thing that I look at every morning.
Nice. So when you mentioned when you drew that diagram, you mentioned using hyperlinks to squared up objects. In this case, those objects are those other dashboards we can see in the left, and because you've got monitoring on those dashboards, they have health, and therefore your diagram shows health.
That's right, and it can be, and you get that health for any squared up object that has health. So that's dashboards, workspaces, or drill down objects themselves. So yeah, anything that has health in squared up, you can show that health on your diagram.
Nice. So on that, if we weren't using, say, like multiple lambdas to run the app, if there was one key lambda you wanted to call out on your diagram, you could link to that one object. But in this case, you're always linking to dashboards that are summarizing yet again more information.
Precisely, yeah.
And I guess on cost as well, that's a really sort of key point for anyone running a SaaS platform, especially multi-cloud. You're obviously calling for AWS and Azure cost in that tile. So I'd guess you're using SQL Analytics to pull that together.
Hey, how did you know? Yeah, that's right. I've got one query against AWS, one against Azure, and then I'm doing a union of those two results to get it onto this one diagram.
And so I guess the tricky question, just to call something out, are they in the same currency, or are you using SQL Analytics to do a little bit of pounds to dollars or dollars to pounds as well?
No, they are in the same currency, so they're both in dollars already. That was made easy for me.
Oh, that's lucky. That's lucky. We have a few examples of people coming on, smooshing cost data together and finding out they're combining yen and rupees and getting all sorts of weird values in their dashboards. So yeah, that's good when it's all the same. When you're showing things like the IsDown data, it looks like there's links in those tiles. I guess the plugin gives you those links to take you straight out to IsDown if you want to drill out and go to that external tool.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to mention that actually. So if I want to go, we can have links to anything in Squared Up, and if I wanted to go out to the official AWS status page, you can see it there, status.aws.amazon.com. Same for Azure, and I can also go to the IsDown page for that. So click on one of those, and you can see Azure is operational, and you can see the recent issues that there have been.
Okay, great. So you've got the dashboard. It's sort of showing you everything you need. Do you you mentioned it's sort of the first thing you look at each morning. Do you look at it more than that? Is it useful day to day, like throughout the day, or is it just that sort of morning check you do with this?
Yeah, it's just the morning check unless I get notified. So every one of our tiles where you've got monitoring enabled, so these ones where you see the health state in the corner of the tile, all of those you can set up notifications, and you can set up notifications of various places, to all the usual things you'd expect, to Slack, to Teams, to email. I can create a ServiceNow incident. I can do various things with it. So I have some email notifications set up. So if I do get notified during the day, it'll prompt me, that the email will prompt me to come back into the product with a link, and I'll click on it to see this dashboard to see what's changed. Why is the state of one of these tiles changed?
Nice. And I guess you could even, with our new notification API feature, you could even just have this delivered straight to you every morning rather than even have to go into Squared Up for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we now have that nice feature. You can just deliver any dashboard or tile straight into a Slack channel, for example. And I've also got the ability to share this dashboard, so I can get a shareable link and I can make it shared only to people in my organization, or I can make a public dashboard if I want and share out to everyone.
Nice. Well, it would definitely look good on one of the big screens in the office. So maybe we'll consider getting it on rotation along with our car parking dashboard and our who's off sick dashboard and various other things like that. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you very much, Rich, for that walkthrough. It is a really awesome dashboard, and as expected, you're obviously making the best of all of the cool features in Squared Up. The diagramming does look really, really awesome. For those of you watching, if you're looking for more inspiration, you can head over to our dashboard gallery. It's squaredup.com/dashboard gallery. And if you have questions, you've got your own great ideas, things you want to share, head over to Community Answers, growing community of like-minded data and monitoring professionals at community.squaredup.com. So yeah, just to say thanks again to Rich for joining me. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, Adam. Speak to you soon.
Great. Thanks, everyone, and see you next time.
Bye bye.